Looks like we're bringing back Larry Lepard in another bold call he makes on Bitcoin. He believes it could 10x to $1 million per Bitcoin within the next 5 years. And what's coming might shock everyone, especially the gold holders. So today we're diving deep into Larry Lepard's powerful predictions from his recent interview and from the global financial reset to the threat of Bitcoin confiscation. So stay tuned.
Crypto chaos got you spinning, watching the next meme token skyrocket while you're still trying to figure out your next move? Flapjacks brings clarity to the chaos with deflationary burns, fitness-driven utility, and a syrupy community that sticks together. This isn't just another token, it's a movement. Why stress when you can stack? Flip the game with Flapjacks at flapjacks.xyz.
$1 trillion of market cap today. Gold is, I don't know, it was 18. I guess I haven't run the numbers at 2,900. It's probably getting to be 19 or $20 trillion of value. So the total gold market is 20 trillion, although not all that's available. Some of it's in museums, a lot of it's around women's necks, although that could be melted down. But the point is that Bitcoin could go up 10x and it would only be the size of the gold market. So we could have $1 million Bitcoin per coin, and that'd be the same size as the gold market. I think that's going to happen. I mean, the power law projects it, a lot of things project it. So I think that's probably likely to happen within 5 years, maybe 7 years at the most. I mean, maybe less. And then after that, I think it just kind of it goes up 10x again.
Hold on tight.
So there you have his intro of what he believes could happen to Bitcoin. And that's no different than what Michael Saylor has said. And many people have said that Bitcoin does eventually take the gold market cap. But then from there, Larry's saying it's going up another 10x. And again, people like Michael Saylor believe that as well. And that is just due to the mathematical scarcity of Bitcoin. So all that to say that you want to be stacking sats. And I showed this on a previous video with Larry because he is from the gold accumulation era and is familiar with what took place with FDR and physical gold and decoupling from the fiat currency being backed by gold. And he brings up some interesting parallels as well as a potential black swan event and why you need to self-custody. Now, no one knows the future, but this is definitely a stark reminder of what could happen and why self-custody is the absolute best play going forward. So let's play that clip.
And there's a lot of tightness in the market, and we see spreads are higher everywhere. We see premiums in the Far East, etc. All of which suggests that somebody and many parties are suddenly deciding that they want to buy gold, that it's important to own gold. And there are some who've even suggested it might be the United States government in terms of just trying to think about a reset. There have been some who've suggested that it's just very wealthy individuals who are trying to protect their wealth, and lots of billionaires in the world. And if they get worried about the underlying currency, they could say, I want some gold. And the other thing I would add is that those of us who've been in the gold trade for a long, long time and studied it very, very carefully can say with a very high level of confidence that there's a lot of paper gold, what I would call ETF and gold futures commitments don't represent actual ounces. Right. And so an ounce of gold is a physical thing. You can't replicate it. You can't print it. You have to mine it out of the ground. Yes. And we believe that there could be as many as 10 or 100 claims on every single one of the ounces that is above ground. And if that's the case, what you really have here is fractional reserve gold, like fractional reserve banking, and it becomes a game of musical chairs. And so if 3 out of the...
Well, that's crazy right there. That's another reason why Elon was pushing for this audit on Fort Knox. Many people believe that there is no gold in Fort Knox. It doesn't really matter at this stage because the U.S. is not backed by gold, but that would just clearly show that we have been, like Larry just said, playing a game of musical chairs, and it's just been smoke and mirrors and fractional reserve banking with gold or lending with gold. It's just a bunch of paper gold and all that. So gold would go up in value, especially if they come to find out that, like he said, there's 10x more claims on gold than there actually is physical gold. So it becomes a supply and demand shock. But then that would just lead them to trying to actually mine more gold, and the people that have that capability would go and get their hands on it. Because if all of a sudden it got revalued or there was a supply demand shock and it's sitting at 3,000 right now per ounce, come to find out that there's 10x more leverage in the system, gold shoots up another 5x. Well, then that's going to mean the people who are ever mining it are going to definitely go get as much as they can to sell it onto the market, and then eventually it'll come back down to whatever that equilibrium price is. But that cannot happen with Bitcoin, and we're going to show you that Black Swan event that he's talking about.
10 people say, I know you owe me some gold via paper. I'll just send you the paper. Why don't you send me the ounce? well, there won't be enough ounces to go around. So the music stops. Who's got a real physical ounce? Who's got a chair? And so that's why I don't trust the ETFs like GLD. I mean, longer term, absolutely. Bitcoin completely demonetizes gold, but that could be 30 years. Okay, that's a long time. I won't be here. They shorter term, I mean, you got to understand, 8 billion people know that gold is money. Several hundred million or more understand that Bitcoin is sounder money and better money, lower, better stock to flow, all that kind of stuff. Countries, if they're likely to reset, I mean, like China doesn't believe in Bitcoin. I think China's bet heavily on gold. We know China has more gold than they say they have. I think they're thinking they would back their currency in a currency collapse or a worldwide currency event. I believe China would try and reset with gold, which is why I think the U.S. should really go forward with a strategic Bitcoin reserve, because I think it'd be a way to leapfrog them and we'd be better off. So let me just give you a bad scenario. I mean, Please. Team Red won, and I'm glad they did, versus Team Blue from a crypto point of view. And but that could change. In 4 years, if things don't get better and Team Red does dumb stuff, Team Blue will win. And we know Team Blue doesn't like crypto. And so what they would do is, they would try to maybe tax it. They'd say, hey, you guys are getting unfairly rich on the, the back of our currency collapsing. We don't like that. We're putting 90% tax on gold, 90% tax on Bitcoin. I mean, they could even do what Roosevelt did. He seized the gold in the 1930s. They could try and seize the Bitcoin. I mean, it wouldn't be hard for them to call up BlackRock and Fidelity and say, send all that ETF Bitcoin to us and give those.
If it's not. And that's the crazy part about it. Like, ultimately, if you don't hold it, like they say, not your keys, not your crypto, then yes, the banks that are custodying your assets, the same way it currently happens with your fiat, they control it and you have lent it to them, or essentially you've given it to them and they have lent you back an IOU. So once you put your fiat and even your crypto into a centralized exchange, it is no longer yours. Now, that would be a tough pill to swallow if the US did something like that. Man, that would piss off so many people, especially moving forward 4 years from now, which we would see at least, 30% of the global population probably in crypto. And like you said, a couple hundred or a couple million in the US are using a couple 100 million globally. Man, that would create just a huge fraction in how people view politics and stuff like that in the US. But that's why it's called a black swan event. So if something like that happened, then that just gives you a clear indicator that that is the asset you want to hold. And just by entertaining this as a possibility, it lets you know that, yes, you want to hold it and custody it your damn self, because there's no other way to secure your future, because shit can and will happen. Like you mentioned with FDR back in the 70s, all of a sudden you had to turn in your gold and that was it. And many countries lost their gold due to the US going off the gold standard and just issuing a IOU to those countries so they could do the same thing to you and then revalue the gold Bitcoin. So just like they revalued the gold, they could revalue the Bitcoins. Like all of a sudden 4 years from now, Bitcoin's at $1 million per coin, and they're like, well, you got to turn it in, BlackRock, we need that, and we're going to give everyone who has it roughly $50,000 per Bitcoin or whatever. They devalue it and they keep the asset themselves and do whatever they want to with it, as they've done before. So it's kind of that fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So we've seen this playbook before, and regardless of how much the likelihood of this playing out in the future is, it doesn't matter. The point is, self-custody is the absolute best way to go, because they can't prove that you have any crypto and you do not have to turn it in. You can memorize the seed phrase and literally take it with you wherever you go. I forgot what movie, one of the Rush Hours, where the girl had like the thing tattooed on her head. It was like the triad names or some crap like that. Like, yeah, you could tattoo this on your body somewhere, or whatever the case may be. Like, there's so many ways to ensure that you are the sole owner, custody of this crypto. So keep that in mind. I do have some on exchanges, so just in full transparency, and I do self-custody some as well. So, gotta hedge your bets, and I say kind of spread out the risk just in case shit does happen. You're able to access it. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Black Swan event could happen? Do you believe the US or any other country for that matter would do something like that? Just curious of your thoughts. So smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.
Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? Spritz Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.